You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
This is Grand Design Podcast with DJ and Jerry Grand, as we link the chains of reason of sports, politics, and culture.
Welcome back. This is episode 9 of the Grand Design Podcast. I'm DJ Grand, and I'm joined with my brother Jerry.
Welcome.
And our engineer Ryan.
Hello.
Today we're talking about a sticky subject, performance enhanced drugs in all sports, but we're going to focus starting with on baseball because that's where a major of the
that's where the outrage
lies.
That's where the outrage lies.
Yes.
Because to start out, it's not really taken as I don't want to say seriously, but it's no big deal if an NFL player gets caught with steroids. The league will fine them, but the fans don't get outraged. The media does not write the articles. Unlike baseball, you got guys that are banned from the Hall of Fame just because they did performance-enhancing drugs. We'll call them steroids, but performance-enhancing drugs. Now, I'll go back to the 90s when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were having that home run battle. The league loved it. The owners loved it. Every owner, where those guys came to their town, they were bringing in fans, selling out the park. The league knew it was happening, and it was okay because it was bringing in revenue. So the owners took a step back. It's okay.
There's a couple things there. First, it is the home runs as the problem with, for the most part,
Chicks dig the long ball.
But that's where you get, steroids, not just steroids, performance enhancing drugs benefit you the most hitting the long ball. They make it quicker too, but that's where the true benefit is. Now, as far as the Major League Baseball letting it go, I think that's a result of the season shortened when they had that strike. And they still weren't as popular because right after that strike, the baseball popularity nosedived.
Correct.
And they were allowing it because that's what brought the popularity back.
Correct. It brought baseball back. But it was those performance-enhancing drugs that were giving McGwire and Sosa the power to do what they were doing. Not only the chicks dig the long ball, the ratings, everything was up that year for Major League Baseball. He even did an interview with his bottle of Androl above in his closet. Androl. It was, at the time, it was legal. When they did the whole first, after they had retired and they came out, it was sports enhancing. They then made it illegal then when they came out with an 80 game ban for a 162 game season. But it was after the media pretty much just it was just some leak. And then even go into, I don't know if it's cortisone or B12 with the NFL. Now, a player gets injured, hamstring, whatever. It's not major. They can still play. Would that be performance enhancing? Because now he can play with that injury and maybe even better because he doesn't feel pain.
I don't think that makes you better. It's like a vitamin. A vitamin, if you take your right vitamins, it makes you healthy. It doesn't make you better. So in terms of performance, of running faster, of hitting a home run longer.
I'll say better in the context of he's torn his hamstring and now he can't run. He's out. But you give him that cortisone, now he can run.
He's healthy. That's why I said
it's a false healthy.
But in terms of him, he's just able to it doesn't make you be able to run any faster. It just gets you back to the starting point.
Because then with the baseball players, it makes him hit the ball farther. With the pitchers, Roger Clemens, he's the only well-known pitcher that went down in this whole scandal. You don't think that made him a little harder to hit? He could throw the ball a little bit harder.
Oh, absolutely.
Now,
it makes you stronger, and therefore you pitch better.
Now, this is total speculation on my part, but if I'm trying to put myself in the league, I'm playing in the league, and it's important for my team, my contract. It's me. I'm thinking of myself, my family. Clemens is throwing the ball 100 miles an hour, 99 miles an hour. Whether or not I know he's taking performance-enhancing drugs, now, for me to win that battle, if I can't hit him at my normal ability, now I have a decision to make. Do I take performance-enhancing drugs so I can be successful? And there's where that trap falls in. And I'll go one step lower. It hits the minor leaguers because if they want to go to the big show, if they want to be able to perform with the big guns, their choice is, do I do them and not get caught? Because there's been phases with the whole, you'll have some pharmacist, chemist that will come up with an undetectable drug, aka I don't know his name, but the gentleman with Alex Rodriguez. And that wasn't Balco, it was something else. He was a doctor. Everything was underground. No one knew. Even they didn't believe good boy Alex Rodriguez. I get why he did it because it was stress, the numbers, the contract, the pressure he was under. He was in these injuries. He couldn't live up to meet that contract with the Yankees. So he starts.
Those are rationalizations. I don't think it justifies it. But, and when we get back to Roger Clemens.
I'm not saying it justifies it. All these players, it's that they got to get to that next level.
Once again, if you were talking about Roger Clemens, that's one pitcher. So you're going to, you juice up to take on one pitcher and all the rest of the pitchers are normal.
That we know
and that
of.
and that justifies you to make you better against all the pitchers instead of just one.
Well, Clemens
I think
is the
that's
one,
a
if I'm
rationalization.
going against him, he's the one, like, if I was in the American League and the Yankees and I'm always going against the Red Sox, yeah, I'm going against him a lot.
A
and
lot
he's striking
is not,
me out.
But that doesn't answer my question. That you're just one pitcher, and you're saying you're allowed to juice up because of one pitcher
that I know of. I mean, he was the most famous pitcher that went down. I'm sure there's a few other pitchers. Again, I'm talking to myself. If I'm in the league and I know Clemens is juicing up, now I got a decision. Do I juice up because I want to be able to hit that ball, get my bat speed to be quicker to meet that fastball? This is all about keeping up at that, playing at that high level.
It's all about pragmatism. The end justifies
the means. Well, that goes back
means.
to our first episode, but it is what it is.
That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it acceptable. You shouldn't have to. It's cheating. The bottom line, it's cheating. You shouldn't have to cheat to get ahead. And now part of it is enforcement. I mean, there's a history of performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, we go back to in 1889, pitcher Pud Galvin became the first player to be widely known for using performance-enhancing substance. He was, he used basically a testosterone supplement derived from the testicles of live animals such as dogs and guinea pigs. So that's 1889. And, remember the movie 61? With the Roger Maris,
yeah.
Okay, when Mickey Mantle had that infection in his hip, there was a reporter who claimed that was because of performance-enhancing drugs. That infection
Mickey Mantle was taking.
Yes, the infection was. In fact, it's writer Zeph Chaffetz, Chafets. Mickey Mantle's fade during the 1961 home run chase with Roger Maris was the indirect result of an attempt by Mantle to gain a substance-based edge. Chaffetz alleges that Mantle was hampered by an abscess created by a botched injection of a chemical cocktail administered by a quack doctor.
Now, in the movie, it was portrayed as a flu shot, correct? Or he had the flu and it was...
The point is, this author claimed that was...
I've never heard Mickey Mantle was doing that. And that's the pretty boy of Major League Baseball.
Well, his book is Let Steroids into the Hall of Fame. The New York Times, it was not a book, article. New York Times, June 29th, 2009. So it's just one person saying it. And you have to read the book or the article to find out more about it. But
that's kind of stunning that Mickey.
The point is,
I never heard that before.
There's a history of it.
Correct. Well, then why are these guys banned? Why are the Sosas, the McGuires, the Rafael Palmeiros for using it when I never heard Mickey Mantle did it?
Well, and not just, there's Mike Schmidt.
Well, I'm sure there's
Scotches on here. First of all, it wasn't illegal until 1991. So before that, in Mickey Mantle's time, it was legal.
So at that time then?
And then they didn't start enforcing it, the MLB, until 2005.
But that makes it okay?
I didn't say it was okay. I'm saying it was illegal. That's why, and since they made it illegal in 1991, then it officially became cheating. Now, it wasn't okay ethically. But by the law of baseball, it was okay. And there's a difference between the law and morals.
But back in the 60s, you're saying with that article that there were players doing it. Now, those players who were performance-enhancing drugs legally are still in the Hall of Fame. What's the difference besides the years 60 and 80, where
I think it's the nuance of being illegal. It's illegal after 1991.
Why?
It wasn't illegal.
Why?
The MLB didn't enforce it. I didn't think they thought it was a rampant problem. In fact, I don't think they knew it was a rampant problem until the Belko incident and then Jose Canseco's book, Juiced.
I think
that's made everyone aware, and not just MLB. Everyone aware. And it was that pressure that caused them to enforce it.
I'm thinking MLB knew, right? I'll go back to 94. They knew it was a rampant problem. Bud Selig, the commissioner, he knew, and he did not say anything because it was bringing baseball back. It was up in the ratings. The home run? What that
Once
home run
again,
back
I
and
think that was
forth.
because of that strike. I mean, that changed the entire dynamic. They were desperate to get their
I
population
guess
back
my
up.
point is when the media brought it out to the attention, then all of a sudden, we got a bad thing here.
Well,
Because why doesn't I opened up, the media just leaves the NFL players alone. Sudafed, would you consider that performance enhancing?
I don't know. I don't know what it does. I
Hockey
couldn't tell
players,
you.
they use it all the time for energy, that quick burst. And sometimes, from what I hear, it can give you that burst of energy. Would you consider that performance enhancing? This could be a stupid question. What about 5-hour energy?
I was just going to say that it's no different than taking that, which is caffeine. I mean,
Is that
Caffeine's a drug.
Is that performance enhancing? Is it performance enhancing? Are you more focused? Now we're going to the workplace now. Are you more focused at your job that you're better now than the guy next to you and should be abandoned for 5-hour energy
well, since
now?
you bring that up, there's a difference between like even a cop, a construction worker or fireman. They could be on performance enhancing drugs, and I would even bet you it'd be a benefit. But we're talking about strict competition here, and that's the context that's different than all those other jobs. It's you're competing, and that's supposed to be on a fair level.
That's what I was trying to bring up
level.
in the beginning was the competition is what makes that person even think about taking performance enhancing because they want to win.
And
they want to do better. For example, the minor league player, the fringe player. I have heard read many a story with that fringe player who's been in the league 10 years and they got a choice. They either shoot up, take a performance enhancing to make the big show or stay in the minor leagues. And some players they want that notoriety, that fame, the Hall of Fame, the big show. And so they rationalize it as just what I'm talking about, competition, for them to be able to compete.
Competition is what makes it wrong. See, it doesn't, just because others are doing it, two wrongs don't make a right.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying that competition is what driving some of these. You always got these people. It's almost like Ryan was saying a couple episodes ago. You got that person that's just gonna, no matter what, they're gonna go above and beyond and break the rules. It's almost like that here. You get that one person that wants that edge, that wants to hit the ball for Roger Clemens, that wants to make the Major League Baseball. And the only way they can do it, they've come to the conclusion, I got to shoot up.
And it darkens your soul. It makes you impure. There is my biggest problem with all of this is you are no longer pure. And
I
both
agree.
ethically and physically, you are now impure.
But I kind of think they're not going to have a long career, correct? They're going to have injuries. There's going to be, like with Mickey Mantle, I just found out, which I did not know that, there's going to be consequences down the road. They'll have to live with those consequences then. But for the time being, they can compete. They got that lifestyle. They can get that contract now.
You're just talking pure pragmatism to me. The end justifies the means. It doesn't make it right.
Yes, the end justifies the means. I got to get to the big show. I want to play. I'm stuck in the minor leagues. Or if you're in the big show, Clemens is always striking me out. He's juicing up. I'm going to have to juice up if I want to get that hit. Especially come playoff time, Game 7, World Series. It's all about that one play. I mean, that notoriety, that fame being carried off. That's what everyone's thinking about. What can we do or I do to achieve that?
The problem is the word have to. You just said it. I have to.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
You don't have to do it. You can still be honorable. You don't have to lie. You don't have to cheat. It's all about have to. You have to means you have a duty.
Some of the people, though, the players that go the honorable way, never make it to the end, the big show, and they did it honorably.
It doesn't matter.
There are guys,
doesn't matter.
There are players that they watch cheat, make it.
The prize doesn't matter. You still keep your soul, man, your untainted soul. Now you say you put yourself into it. I put myself into it. I don't want to taint my soul. It's not worth that. I don't care. There's not much money. There's not fame. There's not glory that is worth ruining my soul. I want to be a good person. And if you cheat, willfully cheat, knowing it, you're not a good person.
I understand what you're saying. Well, you don't want to cheat. You want a good soul. But some of that stuff, when it comes down to you make the decision, that's not even a part of the equation. It's about success and wanting to be better at whatever you're trying to achieve. Football, baseball, basketball, MMA, whatever it is. I think that, again, I agree with you. I think it would be wrong. Okay. You want to be clean. But what I guess I'm trying to say is I can understand where those guys I can see where they want to get that level and they throw out what you just said, being clean. I'll worry about that later. I want to win.
There's no worry about it. Once you're unclean, you're unclean. It's like a fresh patch of snow. Once you get one footprint into it, The whole thing's ruined. There's no going back. Once you do it,
correct.
it's done. You're wrong. It's ruined.
I never knew Mickey Mantle did whatever performance enhancing drugs until just now.
What does that got to do with
again?
anything?
I never knew about it. So how many people, if they don't know, all right, it's only that person who knows. Great.
But your argument is that you know that they're cheating, so therefore I have to cheat. That was your argument.
Correct. That's almost like at the shop. It's within the players. It's not a public thing. Look, again, Major League Baseball kept it pretty much under wraps what was going on. They were fully aware. McGuire, Sosa, Pafio Romero, Roger Clemens, and probably much, much more were doing these performance enhancing drugs, and they let it go because their numbers are going up. So they fully well just hands up in the air until the press came out. All right. So Major League Baseball and these owners, they're just using these guys as equipment. So they're basically saying in one breath, hey, it's okay. Go ahead, do what you got to do because our gate's low, save the game. But then when the press leaks it or what have you, now we got a problem, and now we're going to come down and act like we're the moral righteous. How dare you even think about doing that?
Well, they're wrong, but from Major League Baseball's point of view, it got their popularity back up, and then after the popularity was back up
Isn't
again,
that pragmatic?
then absolutely. I'm just telling you, it's their point of view. Hold on,
the owners.
And that was their reason for allowing it. It doesn't make it right. It wasn't right. But their reason was we get our popularity back up. But now that we've achieved it, now we can go after it again.
But I think the players are doing the same thing. Once I get my achievement up, it's not popularity, it's just a different context.
Well, if we just said the Major League Baseball was wrong for doing it, how can they be right for doing the same thing?
I'm not saying they're right. I'm saying I understand what they were doing.
Saying you understand it is almost justifying it. I don't understand it. And there's the difference between you and I. I don't get it. I don't see why cheating is right, no matter how many people are doing it. If you're playing Monopoly and you know all three other people you're playing with are cheating, that makes it right for you to cheat.
Are you going to win?
It's not about winning. I'll win when it comes to my soul. What I would do then is not play with those people.
But what I'm trying to say, a lot of people out there, it's all about winning. It isn't about the soul and the philosophical correctness. They don't sit there and think about that.
You're right. But once again, the end, winning, justifies doing whatever it takes to win, which means I can trip. I can punch. I can bring my cleats up high, dive, and slide into second base like Ty Cobb used to. All that becomes okay if you're going to go by pragmatism in any realm.
How many times have you heard, if you don't get caught, it's not cheating?
That doesn't mean it's not cheating.
Not that I agree with that.
No, all it means is you didn't get caught. You still cheated.
Correct.
So that means that's self-defeating. You still cheated.
I think
it's a rationalization.
I wish I could think of I think it was T.J. Lang. He recently on a radio show was saying that to be a good offensive lineman, they're holding everyone says it. And they know they're holding every play. So to be a good offensive lineman is not to get caught, to hands in, make it look like, he was kind of giving you the detailed book of how to do it, how to cheat, hold, not cheat.
You just said
holding,
it. How to cheat.
But
if you're holding, you're cheating.
How not to
especially if you're doing it willfully.
And again, if you go with I didn't get caught, ref didn't pull the flag, legal play. Come on.
No, it's not legal. No, that's a rationalization.
They didn't get caught.
All that means is they didn't get caught. It's still an illegal play. So you're telling me that in the New Orleans Saints game at the end of last season, he didn't get caught, so that was a legal play.
He's pledged as a
Answer
hero.
my question, please. Was it illegal play? Please, my question, nothing else.
It was completely illegal.
So it has nothing to do with being caught, does it?
But again, it wasn't called.
It doesn't matter. Please answer my question. Being caught or being called is irrelevant.
Okay.
The question is it cheating? Is it cheating if you do it?
Okay, now, I don't think that player cheated. The ref screwed up. No, the ref didn't make the call. Had the ref called and held them to what the rules were, now the player, look, afterwards, it got comical. He was basically, hey, ref didn't say nothing, illegal play. I get that. But at the point the ref didn't make the call, it goes back and every coaches, they game plans.
Are you telling me he didn't willfully hit him before the ball game there?
Oh, he went to knock him out. Absolutely.
Answer my question.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then in a way, he cheated.
I think he got up and said he was surprised the flag wasn't thrown.
If he did it knowingly, knowing it was illegal, it was wrong, and still did it, he cheated.
Are you asking for every sport to have the golf etiquette that they penalize themselves?
Actually, if you want to be moral, you have to. I'm asking every person to think of themselves in that way, that I would penalize myself if I did that.
A good example.
I would feel bad in anything I do that I know is immoral. I feel bad. And that's how every person should be in sports and in every endeavor in life.
I would agree, but it was a commercial. I haven't seen it this year. Maybe in the basketball tournament we'll see it more, but it was a basketball game going, and the player knowingly knew it went off him, and the ref called it to the other team, and the player goes up after the timeout and says, "No, ref, went off me." Now that's a TV commercial. That is not happening.
Did it actually happen, or is that
No?
made up?
It was a commercial to promote playing the right way.
Isn't that bad that the good has to be fiction? Isn't that sad?
That's why I was bringing that up. That it's a commercial that has to bring that to our attention. And there were people that were laughing at that. That ain't reality. That's not happening.
If you live by principle, it would be reality.
And that's what I'm getting at. I get the principle, but in all these situations, I don't think one person even thinks about principle. I mean, when in MMA, are they thinking about principle when they're juicing up or they're ready for a fight?
Well, those people don't, but I mean, there's people that do. You know,
Correct, but
so.
out of are they a minority or is that the majority?
I don't know. I mean, it's a very big, subject, obviously with every sport, but it's when you get into, like the UFC and all that, they're really cracking down on it since they kind of had a problem with it in the beginning, and then they had all these leagues that you could go over and they basically were like, you should do steroids or whatever.
So they were promoting it.
Some leagues were, but then there's the argument of a lot of people were such big fans of those like fighters and like those people because they were kind of let loose to do what they want. They had, they could reach these levels they wouldn't be able to do without drugs. So it's like if you talk to a fan and maybe a promoter, they'd be like, well, that's why we did it. And that's why they liked watching it because it made it a more interesting, sport. But, it's still good. But that's like with sports. It's not going to make sports boring, if you don't do them.
You know what that makes me think? That we are still uncivilized. We're still
totally.
in the Roman days where
Yeah.
we used to watch the Christians be hit by lions or the gladiators and up and down for death.
Yeah.
I mean, that is uncivilized and it tells me we haven't advanced at all.
Yeah.
Should there be an extra league, like you said, a separate league for those enhanced people and then one for the pure people?
Yeah.
It won't work because
it wouldn't work, yeah.
And here's why. The money's I'll use the NFL, or even baseball for that matter. The money is in the NFL, in Major League Baseball. They're doing these performance-enhancing drugs to get the big contract. If they go to a league that's just all steroids, the money's not there.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning,
Keep
it
going
won't be.
backwards.
I don't think
But if you brand your league, if you market it well, eventually, what you're saying is there's no possible way that anyone could ever compete with the NFL or Major League Baseball or the NHL. It is very possible.
happened.
It's hard. I'm not saying it would be easy, but it's very possible that you could, if you did the business right, you could. And I'm not for this. This is purely hypothetical because I don't think you should do it at all. But if you're going to do it, it should be separate.
You're going to have to offer. See, the AAF, is that what it is now? AFF, I forget. Right now, the Alliance, it's the football league going on right now.
Yes.
Their problem is they can't offer the big money. They're $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 contracts. They're not big money. There's no person in the NFL that wants big money that's going to go to this league unless you give them the $1 million contract. So you got to have that money up. Your branding, I get, but you got to have that money before. A player's not going to say, they're not going to say, I'll go in this performance enhancing league. I'll play for 3 to 4 years because I'm going to kill my body and then I'm done. And I've just set it up for the next generation to get paid. You got NFL players not like Jim Brown who are kind of upset with how they got paid and how they're getting paid right now.
But if you guys are right and people want to see that because they want to see the bigger people, the harder hits, then popularity would eventually increase. It's going to be hard. Please don't get, it's not going to be an easy endeavor.
But I think they just want to stick with what they know and just have the rules not be there. You know what I'm saying? They want to watch the NFL for that or the, whatever it may be. They don't want to like switch to a whole other thing. It sounds lazy.
I'm going to call the fans sheep because they'll do whatever the media drives them in whatever area. Because before the fans loved McGuire and Sosa, loved it. Then when the media came out, you still got some fans that don't mind it, but it was the media that somehow TV, ESPN, the articles, nonstop bombardment of how they were appalled. But during that 10-year period, the media was writing stories and the fans loved it. So they were getting that. But once the media brought it to the attention, it kind of went to the downhill. Those are the owners were just thinking about the money they were making off of those guys doing that, and they didn't care. But when the media brought it out, oh, no, we never knew. How dare them do that? Shame, shame, shame. We got to get a new policy, Mr. Seelig. Now it's an 82-game suspension to make them look good. Like they weren't a part of it when they were a part of that. Now, again, the fans loved it then. Again, they were all getting millions of dollars. You're going to have a hard time starting a league unless you have the millions of dollars to pay them.
Did you not hear me say it wouldn't be easy?
Yeah,
you're going to have
I'm
a
going
hard
to say
time
not
saying
easy,
it's
almost
not going to be easy.
almost impossible.
No, I wouldn't say it's
almost.
I wouldn't say it's even almost impossible. It would be very hard, but with the right marketing and the right branding and the attention, which all that is included in it, you would eventually slowly, I mean, just like our podcast starts out small, and hopefully we'll get big. Eventually, it would be the same thing, especially if what you guys, the premise you both are coming from, that people want to see this. Yeah. If they want to see this, then they're going to be, there's the gladiators, the enhanced ones.
Well, yeah, you have to understand too, when you're talking about performance enhancing drugs and, you know, the best of the leagues that we're talking about, the highest of the highs, I mean, you just got to understand these people are performing at such like a level you can't even comprehend. Obviously, we've all played sports here, and you know it's just to like steroids and whatever you know you're taking. It's not necessarily like it's not bad for you. You know, it actually you know like helps with recovery. I've never done steroids. Let me just say that. So, but you know, it's like the whole like kind of like Wolverine, like the X Factor thing. Like it just you can break down your body so much more and then have it healthy, like in a healthy way, you know, regenerate faster than normal. And that's how you get like the performance enhance, you know, it just gets you to the actual level so much faster from my understanding.
Look, there are legitimate reasons, health reasons for steroids and everyday people, not just sports. So I totally agree with that. But what we're talking about with the andro and the testosterone performance enhancers, that makes you hit farther, go faster.
It's true. Yeah.
And
you get better.
Those are the illegitimate ones.
Mm-hmm. An example that I can think of is, I know you remember Thick Vic.
Of course.
Okay. Weightlifting,
his thigh was bigger than my whole body.
Okay. But how did his thigh get that big? Now, this guy's out there competing, all right, competition, and he wanted to.
Rumor has it he took gorilla testosterone to get that big.
His dad was a doctor from Africa who brought the gorilla testosterone back to the country, and he took it only so he could start winning the competitions.
He's a pragmatist. That's all you're telling me.
Okay, but no. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get what Ryan was saying. Look, some of these people, they're playing at such a high level, okay, that not everyone can play at that level. Then they come to the point to where they realize that they want to succeed. It's performing. They got to enhance their performance. Yeah. Now you look at it as cheating. Okay, but where's the choice?
But wait a minute. Age can do that. Not just injury. Age in baseball. Especially during the steroid era, it went from like an average of home run hitters over 40 at 28 up to 30. So basically what you're saying is you're legitimizing saying that, well, since I'm falling out of it, I'm not as good as I used to be. I can enhance that by cheating.
And why can't the players have the choice?
Yeah.
Why can't they have the choice to do it or not? And if you want to play the honorable role, you know, this is pure West. Okay, go at it.
You know,
but if you got the guy,
your argument is, why can't we have the choice to cheat? That's what your argument is. Why can I not choose to cheat?
I mean, I guess if it isn't in the rule book, it's
what
you know, it's not. You're cheating then. No, I see what you're saying.
But they're making up as they go along because again, baseball was cool with it until the press came out, and then they had to make the rules to where it was bad.
I don't think they were cool with it. They let it go. They let it go for their own end. And then after they got back up again, they stopped it because they wouldn't, if they were cool with it, they never would have made it illegal in 1991.
I'm not mistaken. The only thing that really brought it out was that Mitchell report when the government got involved.
That was the beginning of the light being shined in the darkness. I agree. Okay.
So, but at what point does the government come to the enhancing league and say, whoa, we're not going to let you do this? Because it's regulated.
Well, that's a bad government. If you're starting the league and you're starting the rules saying that this is an enhancing league, then everyone should be able to do it.
Our government isn't exactly good right now. So that being said, I could see them coming in.
That's a whole different argument. I would love to talk about that, but that's a
and we can get into another podcast about that. But I'm just bringing that up, that at some point when you get this league, there's some other faction, and there's always, I bring up Thick Vic, you're always going to have that person that wants to go to the next level, and they're at this high level, and yes, to cheat, to get to the next level, Thick Vic. If I want to win these competitions, I got to sit here and walk. You're right. 42-inch thighs.
So what's the difference though if you're like cycling though? Like not biking, but even though that was obviously Lance Armstrong and all that. Like if you're talking about this is your career, you're in whatever sport it may be, and you do performance enhancing drugs more or less on an off season, let's just say, to, obviously have that off season just go even
recuperate.
That much, and then you just get off it. Is that just as bad?
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's like
so you can never touch the stuff basically.
Once you lie, it's a lie.
Yeah.
You can't go back on it.
Yeah.
Morally, lying and murder are equivalent.
Yeah.
They're both immoral. So it's sort of like that. I mean,
in baseball,
it's still wrong.
Don't you still have to hit the ball?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't see how
you and I,
I don't see how hand-eye coordination, it has anything to do with strength and running faster. Cause yes, you do still have to hit the ball. You still have to have that athletic ability. No doubt about that. But your hand-eye coordination, I have hand-eye coordination. I could never hit the home runs. I was always the base hitter.
And do you think that if you took the Andro or whatever, it may be Balco, that you'd be hitting the home runs?
Probably.
No.
It would at least help me. It would enhance me, and maybe at least hit it deeper. Maybe not home runs, but I could at least hit it deeper. So yeah, I do think it would have enhanced my ability. So I see.
But you still got to go out there and do it.
Okay, here's the ultimate hypothetical. We're talking fiction here, but Steve Austin and bionic arms. So therefore, if I'm able to, through technology, have these enhanced arms, I should be able to go out there and do it.
I guess if you crash a government's rocket.
That's no, please stick to my point. Stick to my point.
Well,
should I be able to do it if I was able to get enhanced arms, bionic arms?
No, but that will be a topic of discussion probably in the future.
I'm not sure bionic arms and enhanced drugs are kind of like.
They're both enhancements.
Yeah.
It's a different form, but they're both enhancements.
They're not the same form.
And to me, they'd both be cheating. If one bionic person was in a league with non-bionic, that would be cheating.
No, I got to get me a bionic arm.
They have an advantage, a non-natural advantage. So I think it would be just as wrong. Bionic arms would be just as wrong as using performance-enhancing drugs. That's my opinion.
So what about like marijuana then? Because that could be looked at as a performance enhancing if it's, helping somebody with, inflammation or just recovery.
See, but that's not performance enhancing. We're talking health. That's like vitamins. I mean, it's close to like,
it's a drug and it's legal in some places and it's changing, but it's just one of those weird ones that, in a lot of leagues, if you get busted for that, you can get in a lot of trouble. It's slowly changing.
Well, with the feds, it's still a big deal.
Yeah.
The feds is irrelevant. The point is, I get your point.
Yeah.
If we're going to just talk about marijuana in itself, I don't think that enhances you as far as ability goes.
Yeah.
It may help you recovery, but so does vitamins. Yeah. And if we're going on that road, we're going to say no one can ever have vitamins. I don't think it's ridiculous. It's absurd. No one would ever agree with that. But as long as it is illegal in the rules, then you shouldn't use it. The question is, should that rule be changed to make it legal? Because it's not a performance enhancing drug.
Yeah. Well, some people might think it does. Not saying they're right or wrong, but it's just like, like it enhanced my performance. Like that's like what they would say, but this is like, all I'm saying is like, if you're doing testosterone and going on the field, high, drunk, whatever it may be. You're not allowed to do that. That's like being under the influence of something in a sport.
Well, as far as marijuana goes, I know when I did it and it would have to face a curveball, I'd be like far out. That ain't I'm not gonna hit that thing.
It
I don't think how that,
too,
true, but I don't think how that particular drug would be an enhancement. In fact, I think it would be a detriment.
Yeah.
But some people could thrive on it. And if it is determined that they are artificially better than someone else because of it, then I think it should be illegal. But from what I know about it, I don't think it's that much of an enhancement that it should be.
Well, then they have people that obviously, do like cocaine or something like that and try, compete.
Since you brought that up.
See, that I think is an enhancement. Well, absolutely.
But now I brought the federal government. You said it was irrelevant, but they have marijuana as the same scheduled narcotic as cocaine.
Yeah.
Well, it does, but just because
that's not a vitamin.
Just because one person or government state classify it, you have to separate it. Because what we're talking about is private enterprise. We're not talking about the government.
Yeah, but how many times the governments take their hand and step in, and that's what
It's
happened with
irrelevant.
baseball.
It's irrelevant to the argument. You're dealing with a logical fallacy. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. If you were in a court of law and we were discussing this, that would be thrown out because it's irrelevant. That's for another case.
But it was the government in that Mitchell report that brought out this whole thing. I really believe had they not done that, the fans would have been, they were accepting of it until this report came out, and then it became taboo.
Okay, that's a different issue because the Mitchell report was initialed by the government, but the government wasn't laying down laws. You're talking about, you brought up the marijuana schedule one of it.
Correct.
Is because they're laying down the law. That's a separate issue. It's not what we're talking about now. What we're talking about now is in the private sector, should performance enhancing drugs be allowed?
See, well, again, we get to that. If you call it cheating, then obviously you can't cheat.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to go back and say I understand. Would I do it? No, I don't want. I want that clean soul. But I can understand where someone would make that choice, and I couldn't condemn them for doing this. I guess what I'm saying. I couldn't call him a cheater.
You have to condemn any immoral act. I mean, just like saying someone made a choice to commit a murder. You have to condemn that. If you know it is immoral, you must, if you're a moral person, condemn that. If you know someone is cheating, if it qualifies as cheating, you must condemn it if you want to consider yourself to be a moral person.
I know they have like levels and like there's like with testosterone and all that. Like I don't know it like solid or anything, but if you're lower in it, like you go to the doctors and like, oh, your T levels are lower or something, and you get prescribed on that, like, is that okay? And you're still playing?
Well, let's go back to the when we're talking about the transgenders playing.
Exactly.
They were on low. The ones who were trans.
They would have to be taking that stuff.
Yes, but they were transing from a male to a female, and they were on low testosterone, and the females were complaining because that is still testosterone, even if it is low. So there's an example where absolutely no, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I think in even the slightest enhancement, if you know it's there, you should disqualify yourself.
Yeah.
I can't do it because I am on this now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a gray area.
Yeah, very gray. Because again, I understand what you're saying, but for the competition thing,
but morally speaking, what is gray? What is gray? Black is bad, white is good, and you're mixing black and white, and that is still part bad, part evil. True. So therefore, it's gray is bad, just as bad as black. It's you must be white. I said pure. That snow field, that's pure.
Yeah.
Anything less, one step into that field, you're impure.
Well, I think it's like, shouldn't it just be you have a commission that, will check if you're doing this, however they test for it. I mean, as long as you pass that, like, isn't that okay? Like, isn't that the only way to really kind of like monitor this?
It is an way to monitor it, but it's kind of like what he was saying earlier. If I don't get caught, then it becomes okay.
And there are ways to hide it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are to mask it. I'm sure there are. However, that doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
It's Socrates' invisible ring. He brought up the fact that if you had an invisible ring, you would then be more of an immoral person because you wouldn't get caught. You would steal. You could do just about anything and not get caught.
Yeah.
I think if you're wearing that invisible ring, it makes you be a better person because it would be easier. It's like superheroes with greater responsibility.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. I mean, you need to be even more moral, more aware of yourself. And in these situations, they should be more moral, more aware of themselves.
Well, I believe to this day, Roger Clemens will say, I've never had a positive test for performance enhancing drugs, meaning he never failed. He never got caught.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he didn't take it. And that's those little nuance that says, yeah, I didn't get caught.
You didn't catch me.
But that doesn't mean I didn't take it.
Just means
it means he took it and didn't get caught.
The offensive lineman who holds every time, but never does anything wrong until the ref flags him.
So I guess if you're in your math class and you bring out your little cheat and you get away with it every time, therefore you're okay because I didn't get caught. That's absurd.
Along the lines,
that's absolutely absurd.
That's the exact same thing, yes.
How could any moral person stand for that? I mean, if I was the person, think what that does to the person who is actually working hard to not cheat.
How many people?
That puts them at a disadvantage.
How many people who are moral and they have a choice for a huge contract, I'm going to go the honorable way. I'm going to stay clean in this. I'm going to stay pure. I'm just going to go down this righteous path.
It doesn't
here.
matter if it's every single person.
Well,
if it doesn't matter if it's every single person in the world, it only takes one person, yourself, to do it. And then if it was me, ideally, I would say, no, I'm not doing this. No, it's wrong. If you know it's wrong, see, when it comes to morality, there are two things. It's either an error of knowledge or a breach of morality. If you didn't know the error of knowledge part, then it's not immoral. You made a mistake. But once you know, you don't have that option again.
Clemens is saying that. I never got
no,
even Barry
no.
Bonds. I
She's
never
saying,
knowingly took the cream.
No. Clemens was saying he never got caught. He didn't say he didn't know. That's a huge difference between the two.
Barry Bonds said, I took it unawarely. I was using the cream as a muscle relaxer, not knowing that it was Belco, whatever steroid.
Okay, my question to that is that a lie is told to the media to make himself look better, or is it actually the truth? If it's actually the truth, then it is an error of knowledge. But once again, after he knew, and once he was told it was bad, did he continue taking it? Because if he did at that point, he would have definitely been immoral.
I guess my point is when they're looking at that big $1 million contract, tens of millions, yeah, I want to cheat. But then when they get caught, I didn't knowingly do it to justify because they want to look their lifestyle. Everybody wants that lifestyle. They want, to attain that level. And sometimes you get that Red Wing mentality, whatever it takes.
Remember, you always break it down to a Rush song. But glittering prizes and endless compromises shatters the illusion of integrity. That's exactly what it is.
I agree.
Endless compromises caused by the glittering prizes. I don't care what the prize is. It's not worth your soul. Period. In fact, you lose. You can carry the Stanley Cup over your head, have all the awards and all the glory. And if you cheated to get it, you've lost.
I agree. I don't think other people feel that way.
It doesn't matter.
No, I get it, but I'm thinking the majority feel that it doesn't matter. Whatever it takes to achieve that.
Do you realize appeal to the masses, to the majority, is a logical fallacy? Do you realize that?
Yes.
And that's what you're arguing? An appeal to the masses?
I'm just telling you, the majority of people out there do not think like you. And they're not thinking of the philosophical, the honorable way. I want to say 9 times out of 10, it's the other way. Maybe 10 times out of 10. People today just get wrapped up in the glittering prizes, and they'll worry about the compromise, the consequences later on down the road, if there are any. And if they come across that, I not knowingly did it. That's what I'm trying to say. The public, the people out there, whatever it takes to get that lifestyle. And that's been.
You just said it, whatever it takes.
Right.
You just said it.
How many times have we heard that from the Wings? I'm taking it from the sports of the Red Wings to everyday life now. Whatever it takes that I got to succeed, lawyers, whatever. That's my point. They're not thinking like you are with the honorable, the clean, the purity. They're not. MMA fighters, they don't think that. They want to win. Whatever it takes to win. Whatever it takes. I said it again.
Yeah, it can be pretty blinding, So
yeah.
What is the reason we have laws? And this breaks down into
break them.
No, actually, John Adams said the reason we need laws is because men are not angels. Yeah. He's absolutely right. And this also applies to sports because we are not angels. We have to have the laws to keep us in line.
Yeah.
I mean, which there a comedian on the way in saying that if murder was legal, everyone would do it. I mean, the laws is what keeps us.
But you always have that person that's going to try to find a way to break that law and not get caught and succeed.
Even if everyone else does it, I don't care. For me, I want to stay pure. I want to do the best I can to be a good person. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Being a good person. And even if you're justifying it, but you're cheating, you're no longer a good person.
Well, it's like that saying, what you do, how you do everything, like how you do something's how you do everything or something like that, So if you're a person playing whatever sport and you are cheating, you probably live your life a lot like that, So.
Absolutely right.
I agree.
You're absolutely right. That's why you live by principle, and they're living by that principle. I mean, it comes out. Everyone needs a philosophy. I've said it in the past, and it comes out. You can't deny it. The only question is which philosophy you live by, and if you're conscious of your philosophical principles, you can then lead a straight life. Humans make mistakes. Yeah. I mean, you can veer off the path, but when you know you make a mistake, you come back onto the path. It's like meditation and mindfulness.
Yeah.
You drift every once in a while, but you just gently bring yourself back to your mindfulness. That's what needs to be applied. if you're going to be a good person. Anything else?
Sounds good.
Well, I guess I can tell you how to get a hold of us.
Yes, if you have any opinions, tell us how you feel about this. Where are you at? Would you cheat?
Would you cheat?
If you have a doctor's number that can get us, no, it's kidding.
Anyways, you can get in contact with us at our website is granddesigns.podcast.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Grand Designs Pod. Instagram is Grand Design Podcast. This is the Grand Designs Podcast. Who are you listening to?